guys, Prowl1701 here. Today we're going to be reviewing the Twilight Zone episode, People Are Alike All Over, with the legendary Roddy McDowall in the starring role. I'm a big Roddy McDowall fan. My favorite role of his being from the pilot of Night Gallery, which I've talked about before on the channel, which the pilot of Night Gallery is actually 3 segments. He's in, I believe it's the first segment called The Cemetery, which I'm very, very fond of. One of the best pieces of horror ever put to film, in my opinion. And of course, I also love him as a killer in an episode of Columbo, and he's great in Fright Night, and Fright Night too. But I like Roddy McDowall, and he is really good in this. He is, he's definitely on his A game per usual, and he's playing someone being sent into space, not necessarily a trained astronaut, someone who's being sent into space because he's smart. He's being sent up for his mind, as he says. Him and another trained astronaut are going up together to go to Mars. And Roddy McDowall doesn't really want to go. He's like, if only I could send my brain and leave the body here. And so they go, but they crash, and the other pilot is fatally injured. Even though you don't realize how bad off he is at first, he's pretty hurt, but he does end up succumbing to his injuries. Fairly early on in the episode, the ship is smashed, and Roddy McDowall's character is scared to go out. He doesn't know what's out there or what they may look like. But the other pilot had even said to him, you know, that he firmly believed people were alike all over, that they have a similar form, they follow a same blueprint. It's very naive thinking, isn't it? And that people anywhere else would be just like people on Earth. And when Roddy McDowall finally meets the Martians, let's just call them Martians, they look like us, except for in more like, you know, like Greek robes and stuff, you know, kind of like a pacifist country. Think the Dominators, the pacifist people from the Dominators and Doctor Who, stuff like that. And they're very kind, they're very welcoming. They kind of communicate through a type of hypnosis to where they're not really speaking their language, even though it sounds to us like they're speaking their language, and they let him know he's going to be okay. They're going to bury his friend for him. They're going to fix his ship. And it's nice watching him communicate with them as they banter back and forth. There's a pretty girl there that he enjoys talking to. Whether he's interested in her romantically, it doesn't really touch on that, but you can tell he enjoys talking with her. And then, of course, they build him a nice housing area to stay at, because they're like, well, we know you want to see our cities. We're not ready for that, so we built you some temporary accommodations. We do want to make sure we got it right, because they can read his mind. They're I guess telepathic. They can hear what's going on in his head. And of course, the big twist, which is how I knew I'd seen this story before, is I remembered the twist going in. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. It's really good. You know, Roddy McDowall's good in anything he does. Is, you know, there's little hints that something is off. Like, obviously the girl is not 100% comfortable at the end, and one guy kind of gives her a reproachful look. And they seem to be taking great care that he likes the house they built for him. Making sure he likes it, which he does. He's like, y'all got it exactly right. And there's even one part where 2 of the guys even clasp hands like, yeah, we did it. We did a great job with this, you know, mock-up. And the girl refuses to tell him goodbye when he's like, I'll see you later, right? And she kind of doesn't say anything. One of the other guys is like, of course you will. And Roddy McDowall seems peaceful. He's happy until he realizes, I think the first time he realizes something's off, when he realizes there's no kitchen window. And that throws him off a bit. And then he starts trying to open the back door, what looks like the back door, and it won't open. He starts trying the other doors, and they won't open. He realizes there's no windows, and he starts to get mad. And then you see one of the walls fold back, and it's just bars there with people viewing him. And you realize he's basically an exhibit in a zoo. Even with a tag that's like, you know, Earth creature in its natural habitat. It's pretty much been made a zoo exhibit by the Martian people. And you can tell the one woman's in the crowd, the one that he gets along with, and she's unhappy. She turns around and runs off because she doesn't like it. You know, kind of like how a lot of people here don't like to see, you know, animals in zoos. Like, you know, Katie Manning is not a big fan of animals being caged up. And that's kind of the twist, is all of that, is he's stuck there. And the last line he gives when he basically screams out loud to the other, well, not screams, but he says out loud to the astronaut who passed away, he goes, you were right. You were right. People everywhere are alike. You know, basically basically as a moral lesson to us. You know, yep, the Martians are just like us, putting things we think are lower on the totem pole behind cages in zoos and such and such. So it's a nice little moral lesson there. It's very enjoyable. I like that one. Again, I knew the ending, so it's not the big shock to me, because I've seen this before. It's been a long time, but I remember. I think this is the only episode of Twilight Zone Roddy McDowall did, so I knew what it was as soon as I saw it come up. But I like it. It's very enjoyable. It's a nice little twist. It's a nice little lesson in humanity, I think. And I really enjoyed it. So, have you seen this one? Let me know what you think about it. People are alike all over. Comment down below and let's talk about it. If you want to see more Twilight Zone reviews on the channel, let me know if you like those or not. Don't forget to click the like button, the subscribe button. I also have a Patreon if you'd like to support me on that. There's a link to that down there. There are exclusive Twilight Zone reviews over on the Patreon. They get early access to the ones that come out here, but they also get ones that just come out there. So if you don't see one here you might like coming, maybe it's one I did just for there. Check that out. I want to give a shout out to Colin Coney, Sam Venning, Unknown289, and Finn Perkins, who are some of my top tier patrons. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons and my YouTube members. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. A link to the Amazon wishlist is down there. A link to the Amazon UK wishlist is also down there as well. Check those out. Most importantly, thank you for watching.